I still have questions about this new ownership group. Are they already getting overextended? We'll talk about that. Plus, shout out to a Celtics legend heading into the Hall of Fame right now on the Locked On Celtics podcast.
Beantown, be ever ready. It's the C's. Who else could it be? What they gon' say now? Screaming like JT, Karalis. We kept the madness every game, every practice. Primetime Depp and D White on the sideline. Raining Jays, how it started, raising business, how we finished. Locked on Celtics pod, home of the winners.
Hey there, welcome back to the Locked On Celtics podcast right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, where it is your team every day. Your team is the Boston Celtics. Every day returns next week. So 2 more podcasts. Today's podcast, Friday's podcast, and then next week back to the daily grind. So subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Watch the show on YouTube. Get into the comment section. Share your thoughts with the everydayers, the people who are with me every time I drop a podcast. And with me, I'm John Karalis, beat writer covering the Celtics for Boston Sports Journal. I've also written a couple of books about the Celtics. Later on in today's show, we'll get into, I still have questions about this ownership group. I'll tell you why I'm concerned about being overextended, and that has to do with some of the stuff I've already talked about on Monday's podcast. But first, we had two legends on the show. Number one is Tom Westerholm. Yeah. There's legend number one, Tom Westerholm.
I've been waiting to be introduced correctly. So
Tom Westerholm, everybody. Tom Westerholm. We have sound effects now.
I hear that.
Yes. Okay. The other legend.
You have the opportunity to make the single most insufferable podcast of all time. And I think it's summer's almost over.
It's September 2nd.
You know, like we've got a week or two here before we anyway.
I got people reaching for their phones in their cars, getting ready to break a lot of traffic laws. It's just sitting there saying, Karalis, you touch one more of those sound effects, and we're like, don't go full morning zoo. Don't do it.
Yeah.
All right. Leave it alone. I'm just saying.
You're going to get somebody to storo themselves by.
Don't. I'm sorry. This is very Always Sunny when D and Dennis do their podcast, and they she's clicking all the things, and they finally hit the laser, and he's like, ooh, what was that one? Oh, laser. Oh, I like that one. Let's keep that one in the rotation. So, all right. The second legend that we're talking about, let's just get this going. It's Jeff Twiss. Yeah. Jeff Twiss, who has been with the Celtics since 1981, who has been there for what's that now? 5 championships. Is that right?
Yeah.
81.
Yeah.
80. No. Yeah. 3 in the 80s. Yep.
84.
And 08 and 5 championships. He is just the nicest guy. And he listens to the podcast every once in a while too. He always drops a note every once in a while when I'm in the waiting around for Joe Mazzulla. So Jeff, if you're listening, congratulations. I've already said this to him personally, but he's heading into the Hall of Fame. Well-deserved. It's just so I don't know what else to say other than, there's a couple of podcasts out there now. I think that he's been on. A couple of pieces have been written about him. The man, my favorite Jeff Twiss moment is with Kevin Garnett. Kevin Garnett took a 3. I forget exactly what the circumstances were, and he was asked about it after the game in the locker room, and he went on to this whole big thing. Like, I can shoot threes. Twiss, can I shoot threes? He goes, yes, sir. You can shoot these. I can shoot threes. If you look that up on the internet, Jeff Twiss in the background. Yep, yes, you can. Which is easily my favorite public twist. There are many public twist moments. So another one is though when I think it had to be Brad Stevens when he was caught on the hot mic screaming about Jayson Tatum. I think got a tech, and he dropped an F-bomb on the hot mic, and you just see Twiss just with the eyes go just wide open on the sidelines, just like, oh boy. I hope nobody heard that one because that was loud. So
That's a great Jeff Twiss face that he often makes. That like, or like if somebody's talking in the in the locker room after, and he's kind of standing next to him, and then they say something that Twiss is like, "Oh, I'm gonna have to do some damage control."
Mental note on that one.
Okay. That's a classic Twiss. I also really enjoy. I don't have a good example of this off the top of my head, but I really enjoy like. When I used to go up to Twiss and ask him a question, and it would be something that I know that Jeff Twiss knew the answer to, but Jeff Twiss had to pretend that he didn't know the answer to and be like, let me see if I can find something out. And then he's in PR, like you probably never
yeah.
But Twiss, just the nicest guy. I mean, it's the relationship between PR and journalism is always kind of funny because it's friendly but adversarial at the same time.
Yeah,
at times, and it's just nature of the business, right? But like Twiss, it's like even when it's at its most adversarial, it's just like, I mean, Twiss is just such a kind individual, just such a likable individual, and somebody who's been around so much basketball greatness. I mean, what a career. What a place to be for your career. Twiss is a legend, and very happy for him that he gets this because it's very cool.
One of the coolest things when I was in college at Emerson, we would do we had WERS, which is tattooed on my forearm, the 88.9. I don't know if you can see it, but pivotal for me because that's where I learned like all of the skills to get my podcast and kind of produce a whole thing by myself. We would produce sportscasts on WERS in the afternoons, and the Celtics used to have a phone line where you would call in. I would call on a certain phone that you could record, and his voice, like, "We've reached the Celtics hotline." And even when we were working together, we would still call the Celtics hotline.
Oh yeah.
There is practice today.
Practices. Yep.
Yeah. But he used to do the Celtics hotline and, announce like the same things. And then they would play at that point, it'd be like, I don't know, Dino Raja sound, like Tony Delk sound. And I would write up my thing.
Basketball greatness, like I was just saying.
Absolutely. Right. I would chop it up and I would go into it like it. I had a shift at WERS in the afternoons. And now let's go to sports with John Karalis. And I would do my very poorly written, because I'm a college student, and the Celtics practice today and blah, blah, blah. And here's Tony Delk, and a clip from there. And it was all coordinated by Jeff Twiss. So
yeah,
Jeff actually very instrumental in helping me kind of, kick things off and learn things. Like if he and the Celtics didn't do that stuff, I don't know how I would have done that. So it's just a little shout out, my little shout out to Jeff Twiss. So
yeah.
Anyway, go read the stories. There's a good story in the Globe about Jeff, and he likes to lay low. He keeps a low profile, but which you're in PR, you're supposed to keep a low profile for the most part. But
if there's in journalism, one of the first things you learn is like you're not supposed to be the story, and if there's anybody who's less supposed to be the story than the journalist, it's the PR guy.
It's the PR
guys. PR guy is there to make sure that the correct story is told about the correct people.
Yes, and so congratulations to Jeff Twiss heading into the Hall of Fame, very deservedly so. Jeff will be working for, I don't know, what's this ownership group number 4, 5, maybe also 5.
Yeah.
Well, this new ownership group is, we don't know how they're going to be, but this week more questions. I might be the biggest skeptic when it comes to this ownership group, maybe because they haven't spoken, but my questions, let's get into why I have even more questions about this group when we come back. Today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. We know football season is here. There's college football. Everybody watched Bill Belichick and UNC get smoked. If you threw some money on TCU, then you would have done all rights over at FanDuel. And if that was your first $5 bet, you would have gotten $300 in bonus bets if that was your first ever bet on FanDuel. New customers get $300 in bonus bets if that first $5 bet wins. So whatever you want to do during football season, however you want to bet on player props, how many sacks, how many touchdown passes, Drake May touchdown passes. Let's go for it. You want to build the same game parlay and maybe put those touchdown passes with some touchdowns or something else, running touchdowns. You can do whatever you want. Just get on FanDuel if you want and have some fun with it. You can make every game more exciting. When you log on, they're going to have ways to protect yourself, set your limits, set your budget, use only your disposable income, what you can afford to lose. If you have a bad run and you hit that, FanDuel will cut you off. And that's great because then you come back in a week or two and you start back up again. So download that FanDuel app, visit FanDuel.com to do so and get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bets. Thank you for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. Go check out Locked On NBA and Locked On NBA Game Night. When the season starts, Game Night, which is 7 days a week, will cover all the games in the association. But for now, for the rest of the season, Game Night and Locked On NBA in the afternoons, we're covering all the big stories in the league. We're covering Eurobasket. So lots of discussion there. Go check it out wherever you got this podcast. All right, let's get back to the conversation here about concerns over the new ownership group. So this stems from
this summer. You're going to express some concerns about this new ownership group.
Yes, I know. It's a very on brand thing for me. But listen, okay. So number one, we haven't heard from these guys.
Yeah.
Okay. Bill Chisholm, we've heard from them in an interview with the Boston Globe. We heard a little bit about them in a brief interview with NBC Sports Boston, and that's it. There's been no press conference since the deal is closed. There's been no announced plans for one. We have not been able to ask Bill Chisholm, who is the primary governor of this team, anything about this ownership group. What we know is half the sale has been completed at a valuation of $6 billion, 6.1. The rest of the deal, 49%, will close in 3 years. So that money hasn't been spent yet. So basically half now, half in a few years. And they're going to have to spend another $4 billion because or more, because that valuation is going to be at $7 billion. We know that the board, the managing board, will have Bill Chisholm and 8 other people, including Wyc Grousbeck, including also an investment firm. So I have said many times on this podcast, I don't know how this is going to work. Bill, Wyc can come out and say, we have this vision for the team. But I don't know. And a question that I will ask when I get a chance to is, you and Wyc can have this vision for the team, but what if the other 7 people don't? So what happens then? Does everybody have an equal vote? Are the votes based on how many shares of the team? You have to own at least 15% to be the primary governor, the lead governor, or however it's called. We know that Wyc Grousbeck fell under 15%. So let's just assume that they must have at least 29% together, whatever it is. That leaves 70%, 71% somewhere else. Yeah. So when it comes to hiring or firing, giving an extension or not giving an extension, I need to know, does the word of Bill Chisholm and Wyc Grousbeck, who seem to be, marching in lockstep, does that mean when Brad Stevens says, hey, I want to sign this guy, I want to give this guy an extension, I want to hire this person or fire this person, does the word of these two trump the words of the others? Or can they say, yes, sign them, and the others could be like, nah, we're not spending that money, and Brad Stevens is kind of stuck. So let me just throw that out there again. That, I think, remains a valid concern that needs to be addressed at some point by this group.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that I'm joking about you kind of like commenting often on this stuff, but it's weird. I mean, we've said it a bunch of times this summer. It is a weird setup. It's a weird situation. As an aside, can you imagine? I've got a fairly expensive car repair hanging over my head right now. Can you imagine that I'm like kind of kicking down the line by like a week or two? Can you imagine having a $4 billion bill coming due? That's a crazy figure, especially given that this group, to your point, right, has seemed to have some question marks around it in terms of coming up with things, right? So I mean, it's interesting to look at it from that perspective. I mean, it's interesting to look at it from the perspective of, is this, like you asked, is this like, is this a House of Representatives situation, right? Where it's like everybody's, your amount of say is based on the size of your, of your investment, I guess. Like what is this?
And let me just add to that.
Yeah.
This is the group. This is the managing partners halfway through the process.
Yeah.
So do these 9 folks kick in, double the money, or does Bill Chisholm go, okay, here's my group, here's my group of 9, myself included. I still need to raise another $3+ billion. Do you add 9 more people?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
In 3 years, does this managing board double in size? Does it add 2 people, 10 people? I need to know that answer.
Yeah.
Because in 3 years, some major decisions are going to have to be made, including potentially you're trading Jayson Tatum potentially in a rebuild, or do you trade Jayson Tatum in a rebuild? Like in 3 years, that could be the question. What 9, 10, 15 people are going to be in? What voting process is that going to be? And whose call is it? Because again, Bill Chisholm, Wyc Grousbeck are going to come out with all green foam fingers on and be the rah-rah guys, which is great. We love Wyc Grousbeck for that.
Mm-hmm.
But is that just a smokescreen? And I got a dozen more people behind you that are going to be like, yeah, but no, we see what's going on. They could be like Jayson Tatum's retiring a Celtic, but we're all like, trade them, rebuild, let's get our payroll low and let's move forward. Like that's an important thing that's coming up in a few years, right around the time this next 3 billion, 4 billion, whatever it is due. That is a major, major question mark that's out there.
Yeah, very rich people in America these days. A lot of them are known for, tearing, like buying something and then tearing it down to the studs. A lot of that's a fairly common
venture capital money, which is what Bill Chisholm is and 6th Street is, and
like that's and here's the thing, right? Maybe all this stuff is already worked out. I mean, it could already be worked out, but we don't know.
I don't know.
You guys haven't heard from him. Like, who knows? Maybe, it's very complicated too, because as this ownership group takes over, we're also entering what looks to be like a new era of the league as a whole.
That's right.
Like, this is a really critical time. And for Celtics fans, right, this hasn't really been a concern. Like, Wyc Grousbeck didn't always have like the deepest pockets. Like he wasn't, to draw in like a soccer analogy, he wasn't like, Man City of like 5 years ago, where it's just like, give me all the best players. I don't care. I have a completely blank check. I don't care. It wasn't like that, but it was like, hey, to improve this team in a smart, meaningful, good way, let's do whatever we have to do. And it's like, we don't know if that's the case anymore. We have absolutely no idea if that is going to continue to be the case at a time that is extremely pivotal. Because again, like this is going to be a stretch of NBA basketball where teams are constantly shifting, are constantly transforming themselves, are like, going through, like we've been talking about, they're going through these shorter dips and these shorter waves and these shorter dips. And over the course of that, what does your ownership group look like? Who's willing to spend money? How much money are you willing to spend? To what extent is this going to be limited by venture capitalists? These are all really important questions for this franchise.
Right. How many of these people on this board understand this? And how many of them are just like, yeah, I kicked in $400 million, man. This is like, I got to vote and I vote no. And they don't even care. Like,
and maybe nobody's like that, but you don't know until you get to ask them.
Don't know. We know Wick. We know Chisholm is a fan. We know that the other people who have been Celtics fans are on board, but this is a vast number of people. And so I don't know. And if you have a lot of people who are like, oh yes, this is a sound financial investment for me, I want to be in this business because look at all the TV money coming in and blah, blah, blah. Those are people who are just bottom line X's and O's, dollars and cents, decimal points. And if there are more of them than the rah-rah Celtics fans, they're not going to understand what you just said. They're going to be like, I do not care.
Yeah.
I do not care. How much are we paying these people? Oh, Brad Stevens wants another raise. Can't we get another person who's about as good that we can pay less?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't want that. I don't want that around. And it's going to get worse when you factor in this potential for a new building and this whole WNBA mess, which we are going to get back to in just a second. Hey, thanks for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. Football season is here. So Locked On Patriots, I encourage you to go to Locked On Patriots or the Locked On, whatever your favorite football team is if you're not a Patriots fan. We got something for everybody. Also, Locked On Red Sox. Red Sox are doing okay, smashing 306-foot home runs. So go check them out. Locked On Red Sox and Locked On Bruins too if you're a hockey fan. So we get a Locked On for everybody. So the real reason why I'm bringing this up again this week is part of my mailbag on Monday. The Celtics, the Globe, who was like this with the Boston Celtics, they started like, hey, you never know if the Celtics are going to start looking. They're going to start looking for a potential new site. Which, as somebody, I wrote about this on Boston Sports Journal. As somebody, very expertly noted, the Celtics lease expires in the end of 2036. So if you're going to look for something like, hey, you got 11 years, it's going to take a long time to get this done. Yeah. Let's just look. So kick the tires on it. Whether it happens or not, it's probably not going to happen. But look, another thing this morning on Tuesday morning, there was a piece on the Crafts trying to build a stadium right in Everett, right next to or on the same parcel, whatever it is that the Celtics might build if they wanted to go over by Encore. And the Crafts have had problems trying to build something. And then that's going back and forth. And there's a whole political thing. One of the Kraft kids is running for mayor, and it is a whole big sordid mess. But this is exactly what it is.
As an aside, wild timing by the Crafts, because you can't get this up in time for when it would actually kind of matter to have a new soccer stadium, which would literally be next year during the World Cup. So yeah, great timing.
Sure. Well, you know what though? I will say they probably are like, no, we wanted it by then. We just can't get it done. You can't get it done because of all the red tape and all of you got to donate to this and you got to, we want to get parked over here. And you got to this is part of the thing. And I mentioned this on Monday. It's $1 billion undertaking to help clear that land, build something, all of that stuff. But then you also have to be like, yeah, we're committing to this many $1 million for new parks in Everett and new this in Charlestown and new this in, across the water and all of that. So you got to do it. And you got to commit all these thousands and thousands of dollars to this politician's, district to get their votes and blah, 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 all of that stuff. And then on top of that, Tom, you throw on the WNBA mess where Pags wants to buy the team. Very simple. $325 million, buy the team. I pay a relocation fee. I move it to Boston. I build them a $100 million practice facility. Congratulations, Boston has a team. And the WNBA is like, no, we want the Sun to move to Houston. We want Bill Chisholm to be involved with an expansion team. So $300 million, whatever a team costs in 2-3 years, plus expansion fee was $250 million. this past season, plus whatever you want to pay for a practice facility. You're going to share it with the Celtics? I don't think so. So they want that now. All of a sudden, it's $7 billion to buy the Celtics. It's $1 billion to put up a new arena. Never mind the fight from the Crafts, never mind the fight from the Jacobs family, and then another $500 million for a WNBA team. It's like everybody's trying to spend Bill Chisholm's money, which I'm not even sure he has. And like, we're sitting here like, how does this impact the team? Like, if all of this stuff is kind of hanging out there, and this managing board is like, well, we might end up buying a WNBA team. We might end up, having to build our own arena. We're moving towards that. Is all of the voting power going to be like save? Yeah. And how does that impact this? Like, this is why I have all of these questions. There are so many people involved. And all of a sudden this week, it's like, wow, Bill Chisholm went from, I don't know who the hell this guy is, to he's reshaping the entire Boston sports and entertainment landscape with 2 sports franchises and a new venue that is going to be the shiny new star in the city. I can't wrap my head around that.
Well, and just to back up slightly, if everybody's like save, like what's the quality of the team that you're going to be putting in this brand new shiny stadium? Like you can't be saving too much, because you don't want to have just like an awful team going into a brand new stadium. Like that's not a great look. Like, and we've seen a team go into a brand new stadium and be like, okay, like decent when we look at the Clippers, right? Like they went into they spent a lot of money, but that's a lot. But we've talked about this. That's a much simpler proposition, because that's just Steve Ballmer being like, yeah, man, I don't care. Have money. You want some money? Yeah. I got lots of money. We got money. I want to make something cool. Let's make something cool. I got money. Like,
right. This isn't Jeff Bezos coming to Boston and being like, I will just buy Everett. I'll just buy Everett. And then then we're good, right? Like that's so yeah, but that's the thing, man. That's the thing about this group. It's a group, and all of these things would be groups for the most part, minus 5 people in the world that are allowed to buy a pro sports franchise. But it just the vastness of it all. And the theory is when you get the new arena, like you can say, hey, we're gonna credit max out all our credit cards to buy this new arena, because then we will draw, all of these concerts, and we will draw the MMA and the WWE and the monster truck pulls and all this other stuff. And like, but this is why I'm like, look, the Jacobs family, you think they're going to sit there and be happy about this? No, they are going to fight, and they have established ties in Boston, and they're going to spend their money to be like, no, you cannot take away from this establishment. They're going to lean on, and they will put out a whole PR blitz, which will make the whole fight more expensive. It's it's just impossible to get something like this done within the city of Boston. So what are their choices? Go out to the suburbs? You want to go to Suffolk Downs? Can you imagine the Celtics playing at Suffolk Downs? Oh my God. Like, no. So I don't know. I think all of these concerns are fair when it comes to this group, because even though Bill Chisholm is the face of it and he might be the guy organizing it, it's so much more than him. It's so much more than him. And if the expectation is, hey, if we want a WNBA team in Boston, we're going to tie it to the Celtics. Like, how do you make that happen? Like that, how do you make all of this actually work? This is, I don't know. There's a ton of questions. And I haven't had a chance to ask them yet. So I'm asking them out here into the ether, and maybe one of these
You're
days.
asking me yet again.
I'm asking Tom Westerholm, who kind of looks like a younger Bill Chisholm when I look at the two of you. Like, sure, you could be your dad.
More and more people are saying that me and Bill Chisholm looking. I mean, maybe we both two homes. Might be related. You never know.
Yeah, Chisholm. Like it just could be yeah.
Yeah.
And you're both broke.
What's that?
I said, and you're both broke.
And we're both broke. We're both. I, however, am not overstretched by. Sorry. I, however, am not overstretched by $4 billion. So over the next 3 years.
Tom, are you going to build an arena in your backyard?
No, but what I will say is, as we wrap up this podcast, once again, I think that this is another great opportunity for me to make my pitch to nationalize all sports teams. And
I like it. Look, man, the Blazers went for $4 billion. The Lakers went for $10 billion.
$10 billion.
You know what I mean? Like $4 billion for the Portland Trailblazers. Like,
yeah,
that is not a global brand. There's not much there. You know, and like, I love Portland. I love the Trailblazers. Sure. Like, I thought, you know, that's great, but $4 billion for that team. Who's going to come in and just like, okay, you get one person comes in, like, you can't do that with every one of these teams. I think a lot of these owners, these longtime owners, are going to start being like, hey, how can I turn down $4, $8, $10 billion for a franchise? But it's going to be more of these groups. I just
that's the thing. Yeah, all of these owners are going to see it as like an opportunity to get out, like not quite a bubble, because like the value isn't going anywhere, but like, yeah, like how are you supposed, if they're going for this much, how are you supposed to hang on to it? It doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make sense. Yeah. All right, we'll see. One of these days, I'll get to ask these owners these questions.
Ask them if they've considered nationalizing. See what they.
Sure, I'll see what they say. I'll see what they say. I mean, they already probably hate me.
Yeah, they can't be fans of you.
They probably are not very fond of me.
Bill, I've been saying that you're a broke boy for the last 3 months.
Basically calling you broke.
Have you considered nationalizing the Celtics?
Yeah. It's like getting to a point where I feel like when I get called on, I would not be surprised if he has like an initial comment, like, "Oh, you're the one who thinks I'm broke." You know, like, or whatever. So I don't know, but look, that's going to be my first question that I said before. I think it's the most important question for the Celtics. If you and Wick say one thing, are all 9 people going to say the same thing, or do 7 people's votes outvote you? That's going to be the question that changes the entire course of this Celtics, because it's very easy to get 5. All you need is 5. This is like, you know, all you need is 5 people. And I don't know. I can't see 9 rich people agreeing on the same thing. Yeah. All right, we'll leave it there. We'll come back Friday, Flashcard Friday.
Yes, sir.
You know, we'll do that again. So Tom, gear up for that. Go stretch.
All right.
We'll see you then.
Appreciate you, man.
Thanks. Appreciate you, Tom Westerholm. I appreciate all of you listening on a regular basis. Every dayers here Monday through Friday, which starts again next week, Monday through Friday. So give me your thoughts in the comment section. Let me know if you have similar concerns about this ownership group. I'm just curious. It could all be fine, but we don't know. So, hey, subscribe to the show. We'll continue the conversation in the comments section. I would love to see you then. Share the podcast. Tell everybody, spread the word that they should be listening to and watching the Locked On Celtics podcast here on the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day.